smells, doesn't it? It seems unnoticeable at first, with but a trace of it in the air. However, if you sniff carefully, you too can recognize the unmistakable smell of rot. The rot of corruption is spreading in Hong Kong. Now, one might wonder, what corruption is there in Hong Kong? It is undeniable that the ICAC has transformed the local landscape. Corruption used to grease every wheel in society, yet now there is no citizen who wouldn't frown upon corruption in any form, anywhere. But let's look again. Do we not have the cases of Raphael Hui, Donald Tsang, and even ex-ICAC Commissioner Timothy Tong? These top officials have all been convicted or suspected of improper dealings. While we cannot jump to conclusions, there is a strong indication of corruption taking hold at the top of the food chain. While some might say that the ICAC's tackling of these cases is a good sign, the fact that there are such cases shows otherwise. So where is the root of the problem? It lies in the fact that the ICAC is led only by its commissioner and the chief executive. With these two individuals directly controlling our city's efforts against corruption, they might feel that they can command their employees to not take action as they see fit. In addition, those outside of the ICAC, with the chief executive's ear, can also influence investigations. Meanwhile, ICAC investigators wouldn't want to be known as the disloyal employees who blew the whistle on their boss. Everyone keeps silent. So how can we solve this problem? We need to attack these big sharks head on, just as the government did when founding the ICAC. We need to first reform the link between the ICAC and the government. I say let's form a committee, including not only the chief executive, but also the chief justice, members of political parties, and also morally upright citizens. This committee should be tasked with the nomination of future ICAC commissioners and have the ICAC report to it instead of solely to the chief executive, thereby cutting out any personal loyalties or the belief that any one individual can control the ICAC. In addition, the ICAC should increase its transparency by holding regular public briefings on the city's current state of corruption, thereby allowing us all to take the city's temperature without having to wait for international ratings to paint the picture for us. Ladies and gentlemen, Hong Kong isn't rotten, it's only showing signs of decay. Let's rewire our defense mechanism against corruption so that we can stop the rot in our Fragrant Harbor before it reaches our core. Thank you.
Like many of the speakers today, you've talked a great deal about corruption in government, corruption in business. I'm wondering, though, sort of quoting something you said corruption in any form, anywhere being a problem. Do you see corruption elsewhere? Do you see it in your school, in the clubs you belong to, athletic contests, maybe even competitions of this sort? And if so, how do you deal with that? What steps should society take?
I do agree that corruption can take form in many different forms at many different places. Oftentimes, I'll be joking with my brother, do you accept cash or credit? However, I believe that corruption is not limited to just one specific place. It could be at the high level where we see Donald Tsang, upon retirement, is using public money to fund a very lavish lifestyle after his work. In addition, corruption can take place in many different areas, such as if I know somebody who is in charge of this line, and I'll be asking him, hey, do you mind if I can move up a spot? I know you're a good friend, right? So we see that corruption can take place in many different forms, in many different areas, and that it is not just limited to a high theoretical talk. Thank you.
Climate change is a key policy priority for governments around the world at the moment. Is international politics, though, the biggest obstacle or the greatest opportunity in reducing carbon emissions?
I do believe that it can be both. They're both sides of the coin. We see that oftentimes when many different countries come together at the conference table, most of the time they just want to push forward their own agenda and try and get the best prices or deals for themselves. In doing this, many different times we have different clashes between the interests of many different countries, and it most certainly hinders the development and our ability to tackle climate change. However, I also believe that it is a great opportunity for many different countries to work together and understand the big issue. We do realize that previously, during the climate change talks in Paris, many different countries were able to come together and realize that if we don't do something, our petty concerns and our petty differences won't be able to save us in the end. And it's that realization when all the government leaders realize that we need to stand together and make a firm stance that actually we can take and create real change. Thank you.